And you guys have been like, hey, dude, here's a Democrat that's saying Biden should drop out. Hey, oh my God, Nancy Pelosi just came out and said, yeah, I take back everything I said. Oh my God, Jim Clyburn came out and said, yeah, actually, Biden's old as dirt, maybe even older.
The reaction to President Biden's performance in last week's debate, which sparked calls by some Democrats for the president to drop out of the race. Rachel Scott is tracking it all for us from Washington. Good morning to you, Rachel.
Hey, Robin, good morning to you. President Biden is back at the White House today. His campaign is desperately trying to move past that debate performance, making calls to Democratic lawmakers and donors and rejecting any suggestion that the president should step aside. President Biden leaving Camp David after a weekend with his family, coming before the cameras to lay out what's at stake this election.
The American people must decide if they want to entrust the president once again, the presidency, to Donald Trump, now knowing he'll be even more emboldened to do whatever he pleases whenever he wants to do it.
The president not taking any questions, his campaign still trying to rebound after that debate performance. Democrats expressing concern. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse urging the president's advisors to be candid with the American people about his mental fitness in an interview with a local Rhode Island station.
People want to make sure that this is a campaign that's ready to go and win, that the president and his team are being candid with us about his condition.
Some Democrats now suggesting the president needs to do an interview or hold a press conference.
I expect that this will be moving forward for the president to reassure folks in the media, the general public, the many editorialists, and others who've expressed concern by doing unscripted casual engagements.
Sources tell ABC News the president's family is actively encouraging him to stay in the race. The Biden campaign trying to reassure Democrats and donors. Just last night speaking to 500 fundraisers.
Joe Biden has never been a show horse. He's always been a workhorse.
He's never been a show horse. He's been a pony. It's a dog and pony show. I don't know what's going on. I'm Jim Clyburn. I'm also 90 years old. If you guys noticed that I'm old as shit too, send both of their asses to the glue factory, okay? Everybody's old in the lineup, dude. What the fuck's going on? What is happening, dude? Please bring forward one person that is not 811 years old, okay? This is craziness. This is madness. What the fuck's happening? It's time for some term limits for the Democrats only. Fuck it. Let the Republicans be as old as they want. Institute age limits for the motherfucking Democrats. Okay, please. Hold on. All right. Here's who should replace Brandon. Okay, hold on. Let's keep going.
Kentucky's popular governor Andy Beshear even leaving the door open to someone else being at the top of the ticket.
It was a very bad night for the president, but he is still the candidate. Only he can make decisions about his future candidacy. So as long as he continues to be in the race, I support him.
Another Senator Peter Welch from Vermont this morning calling out the Biden campaign for having what he calls a dismissive attitude for those expressing concern, saying that it's inappropriate. The Biden campaign now says that they brought in $127 million this month, but some Democrats telling me they want to see the president get back out there, take questions at a town hall or at a press conference, George.
They also want to see fresh polls on where things stand. Okay, Rachel, thanks very much.
Joe Biden is attempting to use the monumental Supreme Court ruling on presidential power to warn about the dangers of a second Trump presidency. But in this crucial first week after the debate, the president's delivery was just as focused as his words.
Bro, I love that the metric for Brandon is like, well, people are giving me money still. Like, y'all keep saying I'm old, but I keep raising money, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's fine then. Like, what are we doing here? What's happening here? What's going on? They gave him a spray tan to look less like a ghost. Oh my God, you're not wrong. This motherfucker got a spray tan. You know his ass didn't sit out in the sunlight. He'd perish. Oh my God, he's pulling a Trump strat, dude. Oh my God. He went from orange man bad to I'm orange too. That's crazy. Dude, this is so awesome. We just have our own Trump. Like, it's great. It's fun to see the Democrats basically cope with the notion that, like, we have our very own. Like, and they're behaving exactly like the Republicans are, so it's great. Blue and on, baby.
No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. With today's Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity, that fundamentally changed. For all practical purposes, today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent, because the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States.
Of course, it all comes down to what the voters think. CNN's David Chalian is here to break it down. Show us the numbers from this new poll.
Yeah, this was fielded entirely after our debate, as you noted. And I think there are some data points in here that the Biden campaign will use to try and push back on some of this Democratic concern. And I think there are some data points in here that those elected officials and donors who are concerned about Biden moving forward will use to push back on the president. Take a look overall at the state of the race in our brand new poll. 49% Donald Trump, 43% Joe Biden. This is a 6-point lead, Dana, and this is unchanged. Changed since our last poll in April. In fact, it's been a remarkably consistent race with Joe Biden trailing Donald Trump just outside the margin of error for quite some time. If you look back in our trend here, you see it was identical in April, 49-43. You see nothing has really changed since last August. By last fall, this race has kind of...
Guys, I'm new to this political stuff. Is this good? I can't tell. It's got to be, right? This is good, right? It's just funny because, like, his team keeps saying, look at the polls, like, look at the momentum. It's shifting. Yeah, bro, it's shifting away from you. Like, that's what his team has been coping with. Where he's like, well, in the states that do matter, like, Biden is actually starting to pick up some steam. And it's like, no, dog, he's losing it, okay? The momentum is in the opposite direction that you would want it to be. What is happening?
into place.
That's remarkable to look at that, even just from April to now. Exactly the same.
Identical. And the Biden campaign will say to folks, see, the debate didn't change the state of the race. Of course, when you're 6 points down, you kind of needed the debate to change the state of the race. I
need you guys to understand something. Given the way that the Electoral College works, given the way that the House of Representatives is slanted, Democrats have to be winning by 5 points to actually win the Electoral College. Okay? Not losing, winning by like at least 3 points, but a comfortable margin of victory by 5. I don't know if you guys know this, but the most populous states are blue. So, like, you know, across the board, like, it doesn't reflect well on the polling when you're looking at a 49, when you're looking at this kind of point difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It's okay though, he's raising money, baby. Let's go. Wait, what? Okay, they're throwing. Hunter Biden has joined the White House meetings as he stays close to the president post-debate. No, they're throwing. Bro, they're throwing. That's crazy. The number one defense for Hunter Biden has been he has no business in the White House. Like, up until this moment, you could very clearly point to, the fuck do you mean Hunter Biden's laptop? He doesn't do shit. He's just like, yeah, he's cool. He's sick. He's just smoking crack and stuff. Who gives a fuck? Now he's in the White House. Dude, are they just... Bro, okay, I'm sorry. White nativist immigration, wanting to build a border wall, now looking suspiciously orange, bringing his fucking failson into the White House. Is this Donald Trump? Bro, are you copying all of his worst habits? Like, what's happening? Copy the good shit. What is happening right now? He's just like, yeah, that's right. My opponent is Donald Trump. Everybody likes him. That's why I'm going to be Donald Trump myself. What's going on here? Even the White House senior aides are confused. Yeah, no shit, dude. I'd be like, what the fuck is this crackhead doing in here? Unless he's here to give daddy the good crack so we can fucking be a dynamo again. Get this dipshit out of here. What do you mean? Like, do I think that like Hunter Biden is like illegally, I don't know, improperly abusing his relationship with his dad or whatever for like Ukraine? No. For Burisma? No. But I do think this is really bad. It's a really bad look. It's a really bad look when your son is now officially, you know, he's got some gun charges. He's been plastered all over the media. He's like public enemy number one. Why the fuck are you bringing him around? What is happening here? Optically speaking, this is an unimaginably bad move because now you give credence to the Hunter Biden conspiracies. All of a sudden, there's weight to the statements. Not to say that it's real. I'm not saying it's real at all. But at least there's more weight to it if he's in the fucking White House. Why would you ever go around him? Like, why would you ever be around him? Not even invite him to the White House. Like, don't even be around your son. You're running for re-election, dumbass. The fuck is this shit? Things are getting very weird in the Democratic Party. Remember when I told you guys this is like the most boring election cycle so far, but it has the capacity to be the most interesting one? These are like moves that are happening in that direction a little bit. Like I told you from the start, like this is a very predictable, very boring election cycle. You know both the candidates. Nobody likes a rerun. And it turns out the rerun is crazy, okay? Or at least it's starting to be crazy. I don't know.
About what was locked in here. So 65% of the electorate say their mind is made up. If your mind is made up in this poll, you're splitting 53% for Trump, 45% for Biden. However, 31% of voters in the poll say they are movable. Either they don't have a first choice or they're not locked in. They're willing to move off of who they're saying their choice is right now. 31% of the electorate's movable. They split more evenly. 39% for Trump, 37% for Biden. Obviously, Joe Biden needs to be working on this movable crowd of nearly a third of the electorate, whether those that don't have a choice or actually with Trump right now, but could move to improve his standing.
And talk about what is driving the voters on these numbers.
This is going to be welcome news to Biden because the race is still largely about Donald Trump as the motivating factor, right? Even after the debate. This is among Biden supporters.
Bro, this was the same energy in 2020, except like there were less people that were, there was still a significant number of people who was like, Biden sucks shit, but like, at least he's not Trump and I'm trying to get him the fuck out of office. This time it's a rerun and there's a lot more people who are like, honestly, he's not going to get the job done. Like that is a dire situation, okay? If your whole shtick is like, I'm not Trump, I'm the man to get Trump out of office, and you run on that, and you win a contested primary, even though you got a lot of fucking help from Barack Hussein Obama, right? Even if all that happens, ultimately, like, you know, a shit ton of people still voted in the primaries, and they voted for you, and you became the conclusive nominee. You are not the incumbent in that situation for 4 years, and 75% of the party is like, yo, you got to drop out. And that's fucking 2 years ago. Okay? Nowadays, you can't do the rerun of 2020 with just like, well, people are just anti-Trump. There are plenty of people who are anti-Trump. That much is still true. And that is a major motivator for why people are voting for the Democratic Party, why people are voting for Biden. But when you look at the numbers, it's clearly not enough. It's just very bad. It's just very bad strategy overall, in my opinion.
Portana, what would your vote be more to vote against Trump or for Biden? 63% say against Trump. 37% say for Biden. And I will say this 37 is actually a slight improvement for Biden, where a bit more of his voters are saying they're actually voting for him. But overall, the thrust for Biden supporters is they want to vote against Trump, not for Biden. It's the complete reversal for Trump supporters. 2/3 of Trump supporters are casting their ballot for Donald Trump. 34% say they're casting.
Hey guys, is this good? Is this good for Biden? I can't tell because it seems like it's not. I mean, this has always been the case, by the way, for the record. This was how it was last time around too. People just love Trump. It is what it is.
As the president and his inner circle dig in following his disastrous debate performance last week, a growing number of Democratic leaders are saying they want him to step aside for the good of the party and the country. Democratic Representative Lloyd Doggett of Texas was the first to break ranks. Biden is expected to meet Wednesday with Democratic governors and congressional leaders, the White House said Tuesday. The announcement came after CNN reported that some governors expressed concerns about the president's debate performance. The governors, one source said, were worried about going public with their concerns out of fear it would lead to Biden digging in further. CNN talked to more than 2 dozen current and former Democratic officials, as well as donors and longtime Biden allies, all of whom spoke on condition of anonymity to avoid alienating Biden. Many of these people say they have already made up their minds that the president should quit his campaign, a decision some of them think he needs to announce this week.
Against Joe Biden. Again, we see a slight uptick here for Trump among those voting for him, too. So we're seeing both Trump and Biden sort of consolidate.
They're talking like it's good. Yeah, good for Trump.
Their fellow partisans.
What about the debate performance? Let's talk about that, because we really want to know what voters thought and whether the debate performance actually impacted how they perceive Joe Biden.
Yeah, I mean, overall in this poll, we see that people say Donald Trump won the debate. We saw that in our instant poll on the night of the debate among
Leaked polling from Democratic data firm OpenLab shows Biden sinking in battleground states and putting states like Virginia, New Hampshire, and New Mexico in play for Trump. And now Harris, Whitmer, Newsom, and Pete outpolling him in swing states. Biden plunges in swing states in leaked post-debate poll. Also, for the first time, he's polling behind Kamala Harris. Oh, my Lord. Oh, come on, dude. I'm not going to fucking subscribe to Puck. Like, just give me the fucking article for free, Peter Hamby. What the hell are we doing? Fucking Snapchat Andy over here, like, forcing my ass to buy a subscription? Like, what are we doing? To the Puck? Dude, what is going on, dude? Every time you motherfuckers send me a new link, it's like another dog shit new thing that Biden has said. Dude, I swear to God, I logged on today and I was like, what are we going to talk about today? Maybe we'll talk about Biden. And you guys have been like, hey, dude, here's a Democrat that's saying Biden should drop out. Hey, oh my God, Nancy Pelosi just came out and said, yeah, I take back everything I said. Oh my God, Jim Clyburn came out and said, yeah, actually, Biden's old as dirt, maybe even older. Hey, check out this tweet. Here's Biden saying he doesn't want to fucking actually reform the Supreme Court and he thinks it's awesome. Hey, dude, check out this new tweet. Biden says he actually fucking wants every American to die. He's actually going to personally send every American to fucking Gaza. Okay? Like, what are the political instincts of this dinosaur and the people surrounding him? What is going on? It's like, are you trying to step on every fucking landmine? You have unironic momentum in this direction. Use it to your advantage. Like, talk about the Supreme Court sucking ass. And he's like, yeah, no, Jack, the Supreme Court is great. It's literally historically the most unpopular. Supreme Court has, I don't think ever in its history been this unpopular by the broader American electorate. I do not understand why you wouldn't just shit on them. Like, what are you doing? Even if you're not going to do anything, just like lean into it, man. What the fuck is happening? What is this guy doing? I don't understand it. Here's the leaked polling. Per Puck News, leaked them internal polling from Open Labs. Pre-debate margin, post-debate margin. Minnesota, pre-debate margin 2.4, post-debate 0.4. Margin drop 2%. Dude, he tanked. He dropped in every fucking swing state, in every key state in general. Oh my God, look at Pennsylvania. 5.1 to minus 7.3. Is this good? Guys, is this good? The funniest part about this entire process is that, like, Biden is not exactly this, like, charismatic figure, right? He's not like an ideological titan and therefore has automatically, like, people rushing to his defense to be like, no, he's got to finish his agenda. He's got to finish the job. He's not like a Chavez type. You know what I'm saying? He is, by definition, a political demon who very openly has tried to fucking hammer the center every time. When you do that, just like Macron, you are not going to have any kind of fucking serious loyalty beyond like Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough. Okay? He's not a cult of personality like Donald Trump is. And he's got no tangible political motivations that you can, like a broader political project that you can point to be like, no, he's got to finish the job. Even though he's like kind of unpopular, that's still our guy. Like, we got to keep going after it. Like with Bernie, right? Bernie Sanders, love him, hate him, doesn't matter. Like, that man has a very clear agenda, right? So even if he was like tanking to a certain degree in the polls, obviously, like, he would still have, in a very Trump style way, a solid amount, a solid base of support. Brandon's base of support is non-existent beyond the fact that he's simply not Trump. He's running against Donald Trump, right? So for that reason, when the veil is lifted and all of a sudden, the guy whose only singular aspect that people voted for him in 2020 was that he was not Trump and he was going to beat Trump, and then he beat Trump, when that falls apart, when people no longer think he can beat Trump, it's over. What have you got? You have nothing left. You literally have nothing left at that point. It's so bad. I don't think people understand how bad this is. So he can fucking paint himself orange and like yell at a teleprompter in every district in Pennsylvania, but that's not really going to change the outcome, because 50 million people watched that debate and billions of dollars of news commentary has occurred since then for the past week and a half. And every single piece of news that came out, even from his likely allies, has been, yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go. We can't do this. He's got to fucking go. It's so bad.
Weight Watchers, that's true broadly with the electorate. But take a look at these numbers, and this is going to keep the conversation going inside the Democratic Party. Nearly 3/4 of American voters say someone else, not Joe Biden, would give Democrats their best chance if they were at the top of the ticket. Only 25% of voters say Joe Biden gives Democrats their best chance of winning in November. And take a look at these numbers.
Oh, no. Wait, hold on. Is this good? Guys, I'm new to this politics thing. Is this good? I can't tell. Democrats' chances better if nominee is amongst registered voters. 25% say Democrats' chances are better with Joe Biden. 75% say someone else.
Chance if they were at the top of the ticket. Only 25% of voters say Joe Biden gives Democrats their best chance of winning in November. And take a look at these numbers. Joe Biden's approval rating is down to 30.
Normally, you'd have some annoying ass fucking liberal Democratic Party defenders in here being like, no, you're so stupid. Like, you just want Joe Biden to lose. Why the fuck do you keep criticizing him? But if you've noticed, there's like only one or two people that have actually chirped in here over the course of the past week and a half. That's how you know shit ain't sweet right now, okay? Like when you got the institution defenders not really chirping in the chat when I say like Brandon needs to fucking drop out if the Democrats want to win anything, like, and I'm not getting any fucking chirpers. Shit, dude. That ain't good, seemingly. That 12-year-old TikToker Harry Sisson, my goat, he's still riding with Biden. Well, you know, he's one guy. I don't know if that's going to work.
6% in this poll. That is his lowest approval rating of his entire presidency in CNN polling. His lowest number nearly 4 months out from the election. That's not welcome news for any incumbent. And we tested what would it look like if Vice President Kamala Harris was in a matchup against Donald Trump and not Joe Biden. And the vice president actually does a little bit better against Trump than Joe Biden does.
That's that's it. It's over. This is the final draw. No, it's done. Dude, when you got charisma suck, the charisma black hole, Kamala Harris polling better than Joseph Robinette Brandon, that's crazy, dude. Biden, you need to step aside. Let Kamala handle it, okay? That or you're a white supremacist. Choose one, okay? K-Hive, we're on the up and up. It's her turn, K-Hive. That's not good. I know. I mean, I think if there's one person, there's like two people that would still probably put this election in like contested territory. And that's Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. And I'm not kidding when I say the Democratic Party would probably put Hillary Clinton in that slot. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. That's such a Democratic Party move to just be like, oh yeah, let's put Hillary Clinton back on the ticket. It'll work this time. People make jokes about here's how Bernie can still win, but like that's literally Hillary Clinton. she stays playing that role. Please don't manifest this. I'm sorry, it's over. I'm not saying psych. It's most likely going to happen.
The race within margin of error, no clear leader. Donald Trump at 47, Kamala Harris at 45%. We also tested Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, Gretchen Whitmer. You see here, those Democrats, they kind of perform like Joe Biden.
Yeah, the difference is they don't have Joe Biden's name recognition. Okay? So that in and of itself is a fucking benefit, because the $127 million in campaign funds that Brandon just raised would be great to pump names out there, like a new person that you put in that slot, okay? Rather than the name that everybody knows. Joe Biden, everyone knows who fucking Joe Biden is. He's the incumbent. He's been in politics for 800 years, okay? What's more ads gonna do? Whereas, like, when you poll someone like Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, they don't have the same name recognition that Joe Biden does. Now, for everyone in this chat, you're like, what do you mean? I know all these candidates. I know all these fucking politicians. It's like, yeah, dude, because you're here. You're a fucking political autist, okay? Like, you're listening to a guy who ran around a fucking Croatian island so that he could talk about politics for 5 fucking hours in a dark hotel room, okay? We like, obviously this is not a normal situation. The average person, though, like normal people who are, I don't know, still doing Hawk Tua memes or whatever the fuck, they don't know who the fuck any of these people are. They forgot who Pete Buttigieg is. They don't know who Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer is at all. So, yeah, for those people, obviously this is a game changer if there's like a shit ton of momentum behind them, if they become the new candidate.
The first sitting House Democrat called on President Joe Biden to stand down as the party's nominee, joining a chorus of prominent anti-Trump politicians, pundits, and columnists who have urged Biden to step aside in the race after what was widely viewed as a disastrous debate performance, with even some top elected Democrats tempering their comments on Biden. Some Democrats have expressed careful skepticism about Biden's future in the race, but have stopped short of calling on him to step aside. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Tuesday on MSNBC, I think it's a legitimate question to say this is an episode or this is a condition, referring to Biden's cognitive abilities. Representative James Clyburn, a former member of the party's leadership, said he would like Biden to remain the nominee, but argued Harris should replace him if Biden stands down. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who has been floated as a replacement for Biden on the ticket, told reporters Monday he will continue to support Biden so long as he continues to be in the race, but added only he can make decisions about his candidacy.
Trump is beating them right now outside the margin of error. Only Kamala Harris, in this poll of these Democrats tested, is getting this race within the margin of error, Dana.
All right, David. Poof, I'm over here now. We'll see you here in a minute. Thank you so much for all of that very, very interesting reporting from our poll. Let's talk about more about all of this with my great group of reporters, the Washington Post's Yasmin Abutaleb, CNN's Eva McCand, and Olivier Knox of U.S. News. Again, David will be here in a moment. Olivier, I want to start with you. Your sort of takeaway from these numbers that David just revealed.
Well, I have two thoughts. The first is I have not seen the Democratic Party this agitated and in this much of a panic since 19.
After the worst performance of his career in his worst news cycle, Biden didn't drop at all from CNN's previous poll. Like, what are we doing here?
1998, early 1998.
Yeah, because those people, if you didn't look at the other previous fucking CNN poll, those people are like, I don't give a shit. I'm voting out Donald Trump. 67%. If you noticed, all of those other name recognition lacking candidates also still poll around the same fucking around the same points as Biden. Why? Nobody knows who the fuck Pete Buttigieg is, bro. If you asked 10 Americans, if you asked 100 Americans right now, what cabinet position Pete Buttigieg has, they'd be like, what is a Pete Buttigieg? The fuck are you talking about? It's like these guys are polling with the same percentages that Biden is for that reason, because these guys are like, because there's a base of support in the Democratic Party, and it's 67% of Democratic Party voters that want to vote against Donald Trump. and only like 30+% that want to vote for Biden. Okay? This is, that's the reason. That's the reason why they're polling around the same percentage right now.
When the Lewinsky scandal erupted.
Wow.
And we saw prominent Democrats saying that Bill Clinton should resign, right? That didn't happen, and Democrats did just fine in those midterms that year. The second thought I have is that we really should be polling the 4 or so states that are actually going to decide this election. If 24, yeah, I'm sure you will, but if 24 goes the way 20 and 16 went, we're talking about tens of thousands of voters in a handful of states. And so my theory of the case is that literally any issue can swing this election.
I think that this is certainly instructive, but I think the most telling thing will
People are saying Democratic convention battleground between many candidates will be a possible detrimental to the Dems re-election, but I just don't think throwing Kamala out there would be a good idea at all. Yeah, that's why they should do what they fucking used to do, which is backroom shit. Just like select a fucking candidate that you think is the best goddamn candidate and put him forward. Hopefully it's not Hillary Clinton, okay? Yeah, Democrats need to be fucking united on this issue. It's so stupid. I genuinely think that it's the best idea. A contested primary where there's like a bunch of different people going at each other's throats is probably going to hurt the Democratic Party's chances. But like a new successor that you just pick is probably the best way to go. Be like, this is the guy. Find the one with the least amount of fucking negatives and just let him ride.
really to be continuing to talk to voters. I was in conversation with some of them this weekend. There was a rally here in DC in support of low-wage workers. And I thought that there would be more pushback after the debate performance. I thought that they would raise issues with a whole number of things concerning President Biden, because this is really the left flank of the coalition. And instead, it was the exact opposite. They really rallied around him. They said that all of the response was not fair. They seemed to take a really pragmatic response to all of this and say, listen, he's ultimately going to be our nominee. The alternative is former President Trump, and we're going to stand by him through this difficult period.
David, do you want to? I'm going to move on to some of the things that are going on in the Democratic Party with regard to the debate. But is there anything else that you really want to emphasize, your big picture takeaway from everything you just gave us?
Well, I think the biggest thing here is Joe Biden is not on track to win this race right now, and he needed a debate performance that was going to upend the trajectory of the race. That did not happen here. I mean, inside these numbers of him being 6 points down from Donald Trump is that he's down 10 points among independent voters. Obviously, that was not the case 4 years ago when he won the race nationally by 4 percentage points. So if this is what the result is, that would be, a 10-point swing in the other direction. It's notable that Kamala Harris's performance with independent voters in this poll, she's almost even with Trump. Biden's 10 points down with independent voters.
All right. So I mentioned I want to talk about kind of what's going on behind the scenes with regard to Democrats and the Biden campaign, and something that went from behind the scenes to on TV this morning, which is an interview with our colleague Casey Hunt. Mike Quigley, the congressman, said the following.
His 4 years are, one of the great presidencies of our lifetime. But I think he has to be honest with himself. This is a decision he's going to have to make. He clearly has to understand, I think what you're getting to here is that his decision not only impacts who's going to serve in the White House the next 4 years, but who's going to serve in the Senate, who's going to serve in the House, and it will have implications for decades to come. It's his decision. I just want him to appreciate at this time just how much it impacts not just his race, but all the other races coming in November.
Now, what's notable about that isn't what he said. It's that he said it in public. We have all talked to people who have said that and much more in private, but they have been kept at bay by the Biden campaign. He decided he wanted to say that publicly.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is really what has the potential to maybe swing the conversation in a more public way from sort of pundits and columnists to more Democratic elected officials who may start to call for there to be another nominee. Is if polls, the Biden campaign will point to polls like today's to say, it didn't change the race. I think that's a bit of a problem because, like David said, that they needed to change the dynamics of the race. Being 6 points down is not an especially strong argument, but if polls show that Senate candidates, House candidates are now at risk of losing their races more than they were before because they're being dragged down by Biden. And this was a concern well before the debate that a lot of people didn't want to, in tough districts and tough states, didn't want to campaign with Biden, didn't want to appear at events with him. If now it looks like Democrats are at a bigger risk of not being able to flip the House, losing the Senate, then I think that could really start to change the public conversation.
This just in, multiple Democratic sources confirmed to Fox News that Democratic governors yesterday held a call to discuss the latest developments regarding President Biden's 2024 re-election campaign in the wake of the president's extremely rough performance in Thursday's debate with former President Donald Trump. Now, the call was organized by Democratic Governors Association, DGA Chair Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. Sources familiar with the call described it as a forum where the governors could discuss what was going on with Biden, but that there was no serious talk of urging the president to step aside. One source characterized it as a gripe session. Sources also tell us that the Biden campaign was aware of the call ahead of time. From a national Democratic official familiar with the call, quote, Democratic governors are some of the president and vice president's most proactive and vocal supporters because they've seen how the Biden-Harris administration's accomplishments are directly benefiting their residents. The Biden-Harris team is in constant communication with the governors and their teams, including about yesterday's meeting. News of the call was first reported about 90 minutes ago by CNN's Jake Tapper. Kaylee, I want to get your thoughts on that. What say you about, let's take the response about how there's always the communication and they're in great standing. What do you note about this call?
It's inconceivable to me. I mean, former President Trump, I was around him a lot after 2 debates. I was around him after events. He was constantly picking up the phone and calling allies, governors, senators, congressmen. And the notion that you've had a disastrous debate performance, widely panned.
It is pretty wild, dude. He's not even going up the ranks and just being like, everybody shut the fuck up. Don't talk shit. I'm good. I'm with it. My dick still hangs low. My bitch is bad. Have you seen Jill Biden? I got this. That's crazy.
And by CNN, by MSNBC, by your allies, by Joe Scarborough, that you wouldn't pick up the phone and call governors? I mean, why not is the question. Is he, number one, too stubborn? Is he, number two, unable to call them? I mean, those are the questions that come to mind because it makes no sense. The only thing I would postulate is maybe there's more going on behind the scenes than we know. Maybe he is really considering stepping aside. Maybe that explains why you wouldn't call the governors. That's the only thing I can postulate.
And Lisa, another interesting thing to note as well. So as we mentioned, it was organized by Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, but who also appeared on this network to defend Biden post-debate. So what say you about him being the organizer behind this call?
Well, I just want to say real quick, in looking at these images of Joe Biden, I finally agree with the sentiment, orange man bad. So just want to put that on there. Look, I've had bad spray tans too, so, you know, it happened. Okay, but anyway, all right.
Yo, come on, bro. I feel gross right now. I feel icky. I feel yucky. It's like, you don't get to say that because you say orange man good. Like, that's my thing. I get to say that because I shit on Trump all the time. You can't fucking turn around and be like, orange man bad. Look at his spray tan. It's like, you can't be Uno reversing when your guy is the guy originally, okay? You can't do that. Like, how are you going to dick ride Trump into oblivion and turn around and just be like, yeah, actually, it's kind of whack that Joe Biden got a spray tan. Have you seen your guy? Like, what is happening here?
So, you know, look, I am loving watching this implosion from the left because the media, the left, they're all content with lying to us about Joe Biden's condition until he wobbled on the stage and America saw what is actually happening, the mental vacancy that is Joe Biden. I will say, I think Republicans need to expand the line of attack beyond Joe Biden's age. The country is falling apart, not because Joe Biden is 81, but because of Democrats' policies. Look at California, for instance.
Oh my, she said California. That's awesome. Yo, this is like the new meta where they're like, hey, by the way, now that we're done pouncing on Joe Biden, Now that we're pouncing on Joe Biden, a reminder that like it's actually the Democratic Party's policies that is the reason why Joe Biden sucks. Okay? That's just objectively untrue. The Democrats are doing pretty fucking good in spite of Biden. It's just ridiculous.
I guarantee Gavin Newsom was on that phone call. He's 56 years old. California has some of the highest taxes in the nation, yet they have a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit, the highest unemployment as well. You look at the homeless crisis, the crime crisis.
Gavin Newsom runs on reversing every Ronald Reagan policy, including increasing the top marginal tax rate back to 70%.
4 months before the first debate, the nation's voters repeatedly expressed doubts over whether President Biden had the cognitive health enough to serve. Today, those doubts have grown even more, now at nearly 3/4 of the electorate, and now including many within his own party. And today, after the debate with former President Trump, an increased number of voters, including many Democrats, don't think Mr. Biden should be running for president at all. Nearly half his party doesn't think he should now be the nominee. This move came across the partisan board, but it includes a double-digit movement among Democrats and movement among independents. Given that today, nearly 3 in 4 voters also don't think Mr. Biden should be running for president in the first place. That's a higher percentage sentiment than in February, when almost 2/3 said he should not run. Most voters who say he shouldn't run say it's both about his campaigning and his effectiveness in office, along with his age. But Democrats' concerns, when expressed, lean more toward the strategic. They are worried more about his ability to campaign than his decision making as president. Trump, by contrast, finds a wide view among Republicans that he should be running. That comes as voters widely believe that in the debate, Trump presented his ideas more clearly, appeared more presidential, inspired more confidence, explained his policies better, and quite simply won the debate. This is the case despite the fact that voters overall think Trump was not as truthful. And it's relative, of course. There are plenty of voters who think neither candidate did well. If you found this video informative, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and thanks for watching.